Okay, so we go to the next question. So which among the following is not an example of asynchronous learning? So the answers are live chat and web conferencing, because these are synchronous learning happening at the same time. Remember, synchronous learning means the learning happens at the same time for all the students and the lecturer teaching at the same time. So that's synchronous. So live chat and web conferencing, like what we're doing now, is actually synchronous learning. Others are asynchronous learning, happens at the student space. Yeah. Okay, so we go to the next question. Oh, before that we look at the leaderboard. Oh, who is Nyonya Mansur? Takut tengok nama dia. Okay. Hang on for a second. Okay. Next question. Mio, nampak ke screen saya?
Nampak Doktor.
Mio?
Nampak Doktor. Hello.
Hello, Mio.
Hello. Hello Doktor. Hello.
Mio?
Yes.
Saya nak betulkan sikit, ada suara hilang. Sekejap ya. Okay, Mio boleh dengar ke?
Boleh.
Okay. Okay, next question. Yes, correct. Instructive ya. Mio dengar tak suara saya?
Dengar.
Okay, alright. So next question. So teacher illustrates, this goes back to our first workshop. Okay, the types of lecturing approaches commonly adopted by law instructors. Okay, all right. So we go to the next question. Yes, true. This is narrative lecturing, yeah? So pemenang dia adalah Taylor Swift. So who is Taylor Swift actually? Tak nak ngaku ke? Kalau I kata ada hadiah, ngaku tak? Okay, so that's the the recapitulation of what we have learned in the workshop 1 and workshop 2. Alright, so we continue with Mio, can you allow participant screen sharing tak? Because I need to screen share balik semula.
Okay, Doktor.
Atau boleh ke Mio?
Saya dah allow dah.
Or you can make me the host for a while. Nanti I can do it myself. And then I bagi balik kat you. Okay. Okay, so tolong sekejap continue dengan assessment, with the need analysis. Same code, 246771 with your Mentimeter, so you can just answer the question. All right, so it's half-half. Some of you are familiar with the concept of assessment of, for, and as learning. Some of you are not familiar. 21 are familiar, 24 are not familiar. The reason why I'm asking this question is I will not be teaching this today because I'll be covering this in the next workshop. But compared to the other 2 earlier workshops that we had last week before Raya, those are basically focusing on the teaching process. But this is more once we go into assignments and after this examination. So these 2 workshops, today and Saturday's workshop, will be more on assessment actually. So we are entering the assessment workshops. So I'll be covering this in the next workshop actually in terms of the theory because we don't have time for today. Today's workshop is a bit packed with activities. Okay, so next question. Okay, so most of you are using writing assignment. I think that's predictable. I think we can. I think that's very common, right, for legal education. Okay, and also group presentation and problem solving assignment. So we'll be focusing on these 3 areas for today lah, since the need analysis shows that this is what you are using most of the time. But I will also be touching a bit into speaking assignment because I think the number 12 tu, 13 participants are using speaking assignment. It does not mean that the others are not actually using them, but I think these 13 lecturers must be the ones teaching the practical papers code. That's why they are using speaking assignments more than the rest. Okay, so we go to the next question. Just give one English word, yeah? Just one word. Okay, work. Okay, assessment. The bigger words means more people are choosing the same word. It demonstrates majority in terms of the apa ni, how you perceive that. So most of us are looking at assignment as a form of assessment. I think that's actually true. Assignment is a form of assessment actually. Okay. Task, analysis, research. These are the big words over here. So most of the participants agree that these are the meaning to the word student's assignment. Okay, so we go to the next question. Okay, so majority uses Google Documents and Google Drive, yeah, for the purpose of asking students to do their assignments in class. So I will still be showing Google Documents and Google Drive for the simple reason that this is the simplest tool, online tool that you can use for your workshop, for your class, for your assignments with your students. Okay, so I will still be showing this today, but I will try not to go too deeply into it since you are very familiar with Google Documents and Google Drive, okay? But I will still show it for the sake of those who are very beginners, okay? So I will still show this, and okay, some of you have used Canva, that's good. So I'll be showing Canva today. Flipgrid, I'll be going into Flipgrid today as well. I've shown you Flipgrid in the previous two workshops, but today I'll be teaching you how to use Flipgrid for the purpose of assignment. Okay, Coggle 1, Padlet 4, Google Sites, and Wix and Weebly. Wow, 3. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, Pixton and Sutori no ya. Tak apa, never mind. We'll be looking into this if we have the time. Okay, so next one. If you have not used any, then don't answer anything. Okay. So most are using Google Meet, yeah, and Zoom. Okay. No one else, yeah? Okay. Can you give examples of common writing assignments that you usually give in your class? Okay, case review. Okay, that's expected. Legal opinion writing. Okay, case review, case study, problem solving, case analysis, problem case study, reflection writing. That's amazing. Okay, good. Legal opinion quiz, short research paper, drafting. Okay, this must be someone who is teaching subjects like me. Legal opinion, problem-based questions. Okay, case review. Okay, I could see that, okay, all right. Writing case brief. So most of you are using case review. Case review using Powtoon View, that's amazing. Yeah, I wonder who that is. Wow, discuss, apa tu? Drafting court documents, case review, legal opinion, problem solving, legal research. Okay, I get the idea. Okay, let's go to the next question. Case presentation, research, problem solving, presentation of report, okay, submission of case, debate, case presentation, client consultation, okay, client counseling, government style meeting, debate, moot, okay. Okay, so most are using speaking assignments for case presentation and case analysis. Yeah, I could see that's the popular and most common assignments. Okay, presentation of legal sketch. Hi, that's amazing. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we go to, when I say speaking assignments, it does not necessarily mean group presentation. It could also be individual speaking assignments. Okay, so we go to the next question now. Can you give me examples of your problem solving assignments that you use in your class? How do you use it? What type of problem solving assignments that you use? PBL, okay. Client counseling, okay. Sketch. Practical calculation. Dr. Akmal ke ni? Question with mixed issues, legal opinion, based on past year exam questions. Yeah, I think that's the popular option. PBL, okay, PBL. Past year exam questions, alternative solutions, must be somebody teaching ADR, I think. Okay, current issues related, past SEM questions, past year exam questions. Okay, PBL, mood problem based on news on current issues, draft problems and solve based on case law, application of principles, current issues. Okay, all right. Okay, so we go to the next question. So project-based assignments. Maybe you ask your students to go to court and observe a court hearing and then come back and write a portfolio based on their visit and what they have observed. Maybe you ask your students to actually interview a legal practitioner and then based on that, write a report or something. Okay, so these are project-based assignment, or maybe you ask your students to do a reflection e-portfolio, for example, okay, just to write a collective set of their reflections on what they have learned. So these are all project-based assignments in education actually, but I'm customizing it to legal education. Right, land title analysis, okay, visit and interview. research on current issues through survey, report, interview. Okay, you could see that. Interview engineer, architect. Okay. So not many are using this. I could see only 26 have responded to these questions. Yeah. Management of clients convincing. Kat Syuk kan ni? Ataupun apa ni? Kak Suzana ke? Alright. So research on current issues. Okay. What else? Legal survey. Okay. Alright. So these are all the project-based assignments that I use among us lah. Investigation report. Okay. We go to the next question. Give examples of group presentation assignments in legal education. I think these may overlap with your other forms of assignment. Sometimes when you give them writing assignments, at the end of the writing assignment, you ask them to present. Or sometimes you ask them to do problem-based assignment. At the end of it, you ask them to present, right? Okay, legal opinion, presentation of bank's corporate profile. Wow. Okay. Analyze one legal topic and include current issues on law. So these are presentation, yeah? So meaning it's an oral presentation. When I say group presentation, it means you are asking the students to present orally, yeah? Research report, drama acting. Wow, interesting. Short movie, client counseling, debate, hypothetical situations, hearing. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's the last question for need analysis for today. All right, so now we will go to the content of the workshop. Okay. Thank you everyone for sharing. So I will now go to my slide. There will be not many slides for today, okay, because most of the content will be delivered in simulation activity. So it is very important for you to be able to participate in the simulation, yeah? Okay, so for today, let me just screen share again. Can you see my screen, Mio? Tak, Mio?
Nampak Doktor.
Okay, so I've divided I've structured the workshop today according to these 5 categories of university assignments, and I've customized it to to legal education, to the discipline of law. So in the discipline of law, there could be other types of assignments, but the more common ones that are used are firstly writing assignments, and number 2, speaking assignment. Okay, when you ask the student to speak, the assignment is for them to speak, okay, individually or in group, okay. Number 3 is when the assignment is for them to solve a problem, okay. Number 4, the assignment is for them to complete a project, to carry out a project. And lastly, and this last one usually is an extension of number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Usually when you ask them to do writing, speaking, problem solving, or project-based assignments, then at the end of it, you will usually ask them to do group presentations, because oratorical skill is also a part of learning outcomes for law schools usually, right? Okay, so for today, okay, I would also like to address an issue or a question that was raised in the Telegram group, and also to me personally in private messages by some of the participants from the previous workshops. Yeah, do I use all the tools that I introduced to you in the workshops? I use them, but I don't use them at the same time in the same semester for the same subject. So meaning I have the experience of using these tools, and I'm sharing with you what I have used or are using for this semester, but I don't usually use too many tools in one semester. I think the most would be about 3 or 4 per semester. It depends on my need analysis. For example, this semester, Mio, Kusha, and Jijo is here with me today, so I think they can also ni jugalah attest to this. So basically, for this semester, my students are mostly kinesthetic and visual learners. Mostly are kinesthetic learners. I did my need analysis at the beginning of the semester during the first week. So based on the 16 questions from VAC model, okay, by Dr. Neil Fleming. So I basically used that, and I discovered that my students are mostly kinesthetic learners. So I will match the tool that could actually enhance these types of learners instead of the others that are more suitable for other types of learners. So even though I show you lots of tools, do not be overwhelmed. You need not use all the tools. Okay, I don't use all the tools at the same time. So you should choose the tool according to your need analysis. Remember your ADDIE model in the first workshop. I said to you, the first step is to design your instruction. So there are many models of instructional designs. The simplest would be ADDIE model, 5 stages of ADDIE model. The first thing that you should do in ADDIE model is analysis, need analysis, like what I did just now with you. I checked with you first, okay, what you are familiar with, what you are not familiar with. Okay, and in online learning, you need to check their device, their internet ability and whatnot. So based on that, you choose your tool, okay? So similarly, for today's workshop, I will also be introducing quite a number of tools, but you are not required to use all the tools. If you think it is suitable for you, then go ahead. But if you think it's not, then it's for somebody else in the workshop lah. Because everybody, there are basically 79 participants registered for this workshop. So every participant uses different approach for their student. It is influenced by the fact that they have different types of learner. Maybe the subjects that they teach is of a different nature. So they need the workshop to be customized for them. So I'm trying to personalize the learning of the workshop as well. So meaning I'm giving you like a buffet, all right? You choose which tool suits you the best. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So for today, we have 5 types of university assignments commonly used in law classes. So first is writing assignment. For writing assignment, I will be showing you 3 tools. The one that you are most that you're most familiar with, okay, based on our need analysis just now, is Google Document and Google Drive. And this is the simplest tool actually, okay? And if we are the type of instructors that would go for essay writing, you know, report writing, individual writing, then Google Document and Google Drive is sufficient. Okay. Another one is Canva. Canva, the app is very much similar to Google Doc and Google Drive, but it gives you a lot more, how do I say this? Templates. Meaning if you want your students to submit something that's really, really nice, something that's beautiful, something that's neat and clean and professional looking, you want to also impart in them the skill of presenting their work in a professional manner, this is a good tool because it teaches them to produce infographics, it teaches them to present their essay in a professional manner, in a report, in a professional report template. So Canva is something like Google Document, but with more functions, more templates, more options for you to choose. Okay, so that's Canva. Pixton is actually if we have lots of visual learners. For example, for my class this semester, most of them are kinesthetic and visual learners. So when I ask them to do case review or case analysis, case study, I could see most of you opt for that method, right, in your need analysis just now. So if we have lots of visual learners, it will be more effective, you know, using back VARK model that I taught last workshop, VARK, visual model, according to Professor Fleming. You use visual enhancing tool like Pixton. For example, my case review or case analysis are done in Pixton. Pixton is like a graphic novel, whereby the students present the material facts, issues, decisions, and the judgments of the court in the form of a graphic novel or a comic strip. So it's more visual in comparison to asking them to write it in Google Document and Google Drive. Okay, so that's why I say you have to go back to your instructional design and choose your tool accordingly. So if your need analysis shows that your students are mostly visual learners, then if you ask them to do in Google Drive and Google Document, it may not be as effective as asking them to do in Pixton. This is just a sharing session. So that's for writing. So I'll be introducing these three tools. For speaking assignment, I will be showing Flipgrid and Padlet again from last week, but this time we'll be focusing on grid layout and video and audio functions, because Padlet there are many functions and many layouts. The ones that we have covered in the last class is different. The one that we're going to cover for this workshop is different. Okay. Number 3, problem solving assignment. We'll be going back into Coggle, but I will not be going into detail for this because I've covered this in class activity, tutorial activities last week. But for the sake of those who have just joined this workshop for today, we'll be going into this a bit more. Okay, and then Zoom breakout room. Okay, we'll be doing this a bit. And also Padlet again, but focusing on the canvas layout rather than the grid layout. Okay. Okay, for project-based assignment, I will be introducing to you 2 tools. One is Sutori. Another one is not actually a tool, it's actually an approach of asking students to do assignment. It's a collective reflection. It's called ePortfolio. But for the tools, you can actually use Wix or Weebly or Google Sites, which we'll be looking into this during the workshop after this. Yeah. Lastly, for group presentation. For group presentation, I'll be introducing to you WhatsApp call, Google Duo, and then we can discuss a bit on Zoom and Webex by focusing on the remote control function in Zoom and the screen sharing function in Zoom. And there's one more actually, annotating function in Zoom meeting. All right. So these are the 5 things. So we'll go to the first one. We'll go to Google Documents and Google Drive. Okay. I'm not sure how everyone is using Google Documents and Google Drive for your assignment, but I'll show you how I use mine. So basically the good thing about Google Document is, let me just show you, yeah. I'll go to a different screen, stop sharing, go to a different screen. Hang on for a second. Okay, so you know where to go to access your Google Document, right? Okay, so let me go to the very beginning so that those who are not familiar will still be able to follow. Okay, we go to Google, just type Google Drive. This is the easiest way to do things. Just go to Google, type it, and it will appear. So Google Drive, so you can go to here. Okay, go to Drive. Okay, you will go to your Google Drive. If you are not logged in, it will ask you to basically log into your Google account first. But once you are logged in, then it will bring you to your Google Drive. So this will appear. So what you basically need to do is create a folder. So you can click the button new over here. Okay. And click the button folder over here and name the folder. Maybe you want to write assignment. Okay. Let me just put here writing assignment. Okay. Then you click create. The folder will be created for you. So when you open, the folder is empty. So what you need to do is go to the top of the screen. Okay, go to the top of the screen. And Mio, ada apa-apa soalan ke dalam apa ni chat, ruang chat?
Ada, Doktor.
Ha?
Ada, Doktor.
Apa soalannya?
Can you later share the question for next analysis?
Tak dengar apa dia?
Can you later share the question for need analysis?
Oh, for the VAC model, is it? Professor Fleming's VAC model questionnaire. Can, sure. I will share it in the Telegram. I will share it in the Telegram. There are 16 questions that you can use for your students. Okay, any other questions, Mio?
Having problem to see anything from Dr. Mizan's screen.
Okay, that's technical issue. I hope Mio and the technical team can help to resolve that. Any other questions on the content of the workshop?
The easiest way to use email, students send their written assignment via email. Is this acceptable?
Okay, email is a form of asynchronous learning, asynchronous assessment. So you can actually use email. For example, writing assignment, right? The one I'm talking about now. I have the experience of conducting workshops like this ever since the PKP start. I've had like 8, 9 workshops. Okay, and usually when I come to this part, there will be some who will be asking me, can we ask the students to just write the writing assignment in the form of an email and send the email to us? Of course, you can do that, but sometimes email could be a little bit inconvenient for the purpose of assessment, because you need to actually grade. And sometimes when you talk about assessment for learning, like this one is assessment for learning, it means that the students would have to learn from the process of doing the assessment. So if you want to do that, it helps if you could actually correct their mistakes in their writing assignments. If you want to do that, then email might not be as effective, because once they email you the Microsoft Word document, you download the Microsoft Word document. If you want to make any changes, you have to do it in your Microsoft Word, re-upload it into your email, send it to them, and they will make corrections by downloading the document, make the corrections, re-uploading it to their email and sending it back. So it's very inconvenient. So if we just use Google Drive and Google Document, it'll be very simple. So coming back to the steps here, okay, Amir, nanti kalau ada soalan, you just tell me lagi,
Alright.
Okay, so once we have created the folder, so this is the folder where the students are supposed to submit their work. They don't have to send it via email. So what you need to do is, you go to the folder, right click on the folder. So this is the folder, right? If you can see my cursor, this is the folder. So you just right click and you can see this pop-up of options coming out. So what you need to do is just click the button share, change the sharing setting. Okay, so it will bring you to this. Go to the, can you see the pop-up, Mio?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so once you come to this part, these 2 pop-ups will come out. Change this, yeah? Restricted, only people added can open this link. Change to anyone with the link. So any students who has the link can actually come into the folder and adjust their function accordingly. All right, so if they are just viewers, then they won't be able to submit anything in the folder. So change this to editor, so they can actually edit the work, all right, by adding their work inside the folder. Okay, so click done. Okay, and go back to the folder now. Just click get shareable link. So this is the link, so click copy link. Okay, once you get copy link, what you need to do is you give the link to your students. Or if you want to shorten the link, okay, you can go to the website that I've shown you in the last workshop. Go to Google, there are many URL shortener. The one that I like is gg.gg, because you can customize your link. Okay, so go to gg.gg, for example, one example of URL shortener. So just insert your link there, okay, and customize your link. Maybe you want to put this as assignment, like then you can put your class code maybe. Mine is UUUK 4063. Okay, so maybe you can do that, and then you can just click shorten your URL. Okay, so it'll be easy for your students to remember. It's gg.gg/assignment UUUK 4063. So you just, okay, Control A, click copy, and then you can just paste this in your email and email it to the students, or maybe you can put it in your WhatsApp with the student and just ask your students to come to this folder and submit their work here. But do not forget to instruct your students to use Google Document. Okay, make it very clear to them. Do not upload any Microsoft Word document. Okay, of course, even if they upload Microsoft Word document, you can still open it as Google Document, but easy for them to just understand, because you want them to also get the skill of doing collaborative work remotely, right? So they might as well be very familiar with this, because once they go out, you know, there are not many law students who have technology skills as well. So you might as well make them be very familiar with collaborative remote working. Okay, so in the writing assignment folder, you tell them submit your work over here and make sure that you submit your work in the form of a Google document. Why is this very important? Because Google document will give you the, how do I say this? The functions that the students and the instructors need to basically do the correction, for the instructors to give comments and then the students to make corrections based on the comment, and for the instructor to comment again and the students to correct again in the same document without you having to upload and send your emails and whatever not. So for example, let me just show you. Okay, I will show you another screen. Okay, this is an example of my research grant application with my colleagues in FUU. But you can see the things that you can do with your students. For example, okay, this is, if you look at, hang on for a second, yeah. Okay, so this is the document. Okay, but say for this is, imagine that this is actually your student's answer. So you can actually see the answer. And if let's say you want to comment, what you need to do is, let's say this is the document that they have submitted in the folder that we created in the drive just now. Let's say you want to make some comments on the document. What you need to do is you go to the button over here. Okay, it's written editing. So you just change it to suggesting. So when you change it to suggesting, whatever changes that you make over here, it will be noted as your suggestions for the students to review and maybe to do corrections later on. All right. And if you want to make any comment, okay, what you need to do is, let's say you want to make comment on this sentence over here. So what you need to do is you just click add comment. So the comment will come out. Okay. So this is whatever comment that you will be putting into the Google document. And at the end of it, you can see up here, all changes saved in Drive. If you want to see all comments done by the students, you can just click here. So all comments, sorry, all corrections done by the students, you can see here. Corrections or whatever things done on this document, you will see that you can see the name of the students doing things on the document. So you can also use this for the purpose of giving marks to your students. If let's say, for example, the group consists of, you give group assignment, okay, writing assignment, but each writing assignment is shared in group, okay. Say for example, in that particular group, they have 5 members. So you can actually go to this site and see, even though they are working remotely from their homes, you can actually see who is actually doing what. So each name is given a color, and you can see, for example, we go to this part over here. Okay, so you can see who is actually making or doing things on the document based on the color. Okay, let's say I was the one who added all these things in this document. So my color appear here, but once we go down, we can see the red color appearing for Prof. Harida. Okay, and then further down, you can see more colors, blue color, okay, for Prof. Ruzian. So these are all the things that you can do in Google document. It helps you to track which student is actually doing what on that paper. So it's easier for you to give marks, even though it's a research, it's a group work, but you can see who is actually doing what, okay? But of course, okay, please note this down, it's very important. If you want to use this method, you must tell the students, even though they can enter the folder using the link that you give them, before they enter the folder using the link, make sure they are logged into their Google account with their full name. I'm not sure about your university. I think all IPTAs are the same, if not mistaken, yeah? Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. In UKM, our Siswa account, okay, the student's account, Gmail account, and the lecturer's Gmail account, lecturer's email account is actually provided by Gmail on the Gmail platform. So it's a Google email actually. So ask them to log into their Gmail account, okay? The one that is official, the official Gmail account, not the one with Taylor Swift name and whatnot though, okay? So just ask them to log in using their normal their official account and make corrections or do anything on the document while they are logged into that official account, so that you can see the names of the students appearing. Okay. Are there any questions, Mio, up until this point? I think based on the need analysis, everybody is quite familiar with Google Drive and Google Document, right?
The question, is it appropriate to use Google Doc for take-home test, and do we need to create separate assignment folder for each group? What are the difference between assignments submitted using the Google Drive and that of in the Word document?
Okay, that's a very good question. Actually, that question will be answered in the next workshop on Saturday, because that workshop will be focusing on examinations and tests and more on summative assessment lah. Okay, I have actually used Google Documents and Google Drive for my own examination, but we'll talk about that in the next workshop. At the moment, we're talking about using Google Drive and Google Document in the context of using it for the purpose of assignment, written assignment, just normal one. Okay. Any other questions, Mio?
What the difference with track change in Word, and if students are at their kampungs, can they use university Google account?
The difference between track change in Microsoft Word document and Google document is the fact that Google document is available by everyone. It's available for everyone. You can do it collaboratively. Say, for example, you have 5 students at their kampungs, different places, right? As long as they open the link in Google document, then everybody can work on the same document at the same time or different time, but on the same document. But if you talk about track changes in Microsoft Word, that's in your own laptop. So meaning whatever change that you do in your own laptop, your group members won't be able to see it. All right. So this is the difference between Google Document and your Microsoft Word track change in your own laptop. That's the difference. What was the second part of the question tadi, apa, Mio?
If students at their kampung, can they use university's Google account?
It depends on your university, but for us in UKM, they can. They basically, I think by right, they should be able to do this, because there's no restriction in terms of where you can actually open your email. So as long as it's your email, you have the username and the password, you can actually access it from anywhere. So that's the Nila. Any other questions on Google Drive and Google Document?
What if your official email is not Gmail?
If your official email is not Gmail, then you won't be able to, you will still be able, let's say for example, the student's email is not Gmail, right? Okay, the problem is not in terms of whether they can access the document and make changes on it. Yes, they can, but the problem will be for you as instructors, because you will not know who that person is. Meaning once they go into that document using the link that you give them and make any changes, it will be anonymous now. On the top of the screen, you will see the name of the person who is actually having access to the document, and the one that is not accessing it through their official Gmail account, you will see an icon showing something, meaning a crocodile, a teddy bear, something like that, and you don't know who that person is, unless that student's identify to you lah. Okay, madam, I am the teddy bear in this, I am the crocodile icon. So, okay lah, also can. So as long as they identify themselves to you, so you know, okay, that crocodile is actually student A. So whatever things done by crocodile in this document will get marks for this particular student. So you can also do that. Any other question?
Our university does not use Google server. How do you suggest we go about if students are using other account rather than Google?
Okay, like what I said to you, the first step of any model, your need analysis. So if you do your need analysis and you discover that your students do not use, your university or your institution does not use the Google platform, then Google Document may not be the tool for you. So you have to do your need analysis first. So maybe Canva would be more suitable. So we will go to Canva after this. Remember that every tool that I introduce, it does not mean that you have to use it. This is the only tool. No, you have to match your tool according to your instructional design. Okay. Any other question, Mia? Setakat ni?
Do we need to create a separate assignment folder for each group? What are the differences between the assignment submitted using Google Drive and that of in the Google Word document?
I think I've explained that just now. Word doc. Okay. Oh, I think what she he or she means, I cannot see the name of the person asking the question. So I think what he or she means is that if the students upload a Microsoft Word document, kan, if you upload a Microsoft Word document in comparison to when you ask the students to answer in Google document, is the functions too. If it's just a Microsoft Word document, you don't have the functions of monitoring who actually does what in that document. It's not collaborative. But if you do it in Google document, then you can use all the functions that I've shown you just now. You can see the names of the students who are doing work. The work can be shared, can be done together by many students on the same document. But even if the students upload Microsoft Word, sometimes students could still be confused, right? There will be those students who will still be confused regardless of the instructions that you give to them. So you said, please use Google document. Oh no, they mistakenly send a Microsoft Word document in the folder. No problem, you can just right click on that Word document and open it as Google document. And you make your corrections in the Google version, not in the Microsoft Word version. Okay, anything else?
In order to track change using Google Doc, the user must be online while using it, or can be it offline too?
You mean the person making the correction, is it?
Yes.
If you are the person making the correction, you have to be online. Otherwise, if you try to make changes while you are offline, usually Google will not allow you to save. It will not be saving the changes that you make. So you have to be online. Okay, so if your students have problems with internet connection, so far, my experience with my students, usually Google document does not require that high bandwidth, and it doesn't require much data, internet data. So should be okay. But if you still want to help your students, what you can do is maybe you can ask them to write in Microsoft Word document first, the assignment, and then later on when they want to submit, they just create a Google document in the folder that you have created, cut and paste the assignment in that Google document, and that's it. Okay. The question about whether you should have separate folder, it depends on the instructional objectives that you want to achieve. If you for myself, I like the students to be able to read each other's assignments so that they can also learn from each other. It's pedagogy. Okay, but if you feel that you do not want the students to copy, for example, okay, so maybe you can separate the folders. Maybe you can create different folder for different groups of students, maybe tutorial 1, one folder, tutorial 2, one folder, or maybe separate folder for each student also can, no problem. But it will take more time lah, it will be more tedious. But you must go back to the concept of assessment by the end of the day, because there are 3 types of assessment: assessment of learning, for learning, as learning. And the allocation of marks according to the concept of assessment, if you go for assessment of learning, you can give lots of marks. This is when this is where you talk about not allowing the students to copy. It's like exam, test. These are assessment of learning. You assess the knowledge of the student, the level of understanding of the student. So you can give more marks for this. Okay, but when you talk about assessment as learning, okay, something that the students like like the reflection, the thing that they do, it's a self-measurement, or maybe assessment for learning. They have not learned it. They have to do the assessment. In the process of doing the assessment, they will learn. These type of assessments you cannot actually give too big of a mark lah. So it depends. If let's say you're using Google Document and Google Drive, your assignment is actually assessment of learning, then you can use, you can give a big number of marks, but you have to go into the tedious details lah, separate them into folders and whatnot, kan? Okay, so can I go now to Canva? Okay, let's go to Canva. One more question?
Why do you prefer Zoom over other platforms such as Meet, for example?
Oh, actually, I like all the platforms. Okay, maybe this is just a sharing. It actually depends on your preference. Yeah, depends on your preference. The very big reason why I like to use Zoom is that it has a great view that doesn't require add-on. Meaning, right now I can see everyone. Can everyone wave at me? Can everyone wave? Yes, I can see all the students waving at me. So for me, eye contact is very important. So I want to see my students. So for Google Meet and for Microsoft Teams, it's not that you will not be able to do this. You have to, but it's a bit trickier because you have to add the grid view into your Google Meet. And your students would have to do the same. So not all will be able to do this. So in fact, most of my colleagues in FUU, they are not familiar with adding add-ons in their Google Meet. And one also, they are just lecturing in Google Meet by looking only at 4 students. So I don't prefer that. So it's just a matter of preference. But if you're okay with that, why not? You can go ahead and use it. Google Meet and Microsoft Teams, actually you can see students like this, but you have to add on the grid view so that you can see the students. And another reason why I like Zoom is because I like the breakout room function. You can ask me, in my class, I like to do breakout rooms discussion. So the only platforms that allow me to do this are 2, Webex, Cisco Webex, and Zoom. That's the only reason. Other than that, it's more or less the same lah with other things. The third reason, there's a third reason. Third reason is because I've already paid for the account. So might as well I use it as much as possible lah. Otherwise rugi lah kan. Other than that, Microsoft Teams, I like in terms of doing work with my team or with my students yang in the committees. But it's too heavy for students to load when they want to have a class like this with me. So that's why I don't actually use Google Teams. In terms of the lightest, I would say Google Meet. Okay, but it doesn't give me the function that I want to see all the students without having to do the add-on. Okay, boleh tak Mio? Any other questions before I move on to the next tool?
If the student are the one who create the link for assignment and invite us as an editor or collaborator, can we see who is actually doing their correction?
Yeah, you can. There's another function that I did not show to you just now. Let me just share this again. I had fun with my team when we were doing this grant application. Apart from the, apart from looking at who actually made changes, now it's empty. Nobody is actually in this document. But if let's say they are working together in this particular document, you can see, if you can see my cursor here on top of the screen, you can see actually who is doing work in that document at the time when you open the document. Say for example, now we open the document and there are, let's say, the other members of the document are doing work on top of the screen. You can see all of them here. This is where I was telling you just now, if that person doesn't use Gmail account, you will see the icon, the teddy bear icon, the crocodile icon, the bird icon. So you can see who is actually doing what, and you can click, okay? And then it will come out in the form of a conversation. So we can also chit chat, meaning the students can do work and they can talk to each other in the comment section. It's called comment, now it's just a comment lah, but once everybody is here, it will be a conversation. So you can talk to each other. Okay, any other questions, Mio?
If I have 5 groups of students, do I have to open 5 folders in the drive?
Oh, that actually depends on you, what you need from the students. If you want the students to submit separately, like I was saying just now, if you want the students to submit separately in different folders because you don't want them to copy each other, then you have to have different folders for each student lah. But if, like say for example, I use this in the context of collaborative learning, I want the students to be able to read each other's assignments. Of course, there will be tendency of cheating and whatnot, copying whatnot, but I don't give lots of marks for this. It's basically more of a learning process rather than an assessment process. So I can do it like that. But if you want to do it in a different way where you don't want the students to copy, then you have to have different folders for each one. Okay, Mio, I think we can come back to the questions soon, but we have to go back to the next tools now. Okay, I'll be sharing with you Canva. Okay, I think based on the need analysis, one of you has used Canva before. Okay, so we'll go to Canva. Canva is, the concept is very much similar to apa ni, wrong screen, hang on hang on for a second, I go to the screen again. Okay, so this is Canva. We'll go to Google, always go back to Google so that apa ni, everybody can actually see from the very beginning. So just type Canva. Okay, it's not Canvas. Canvas is a different tool. It's also an online tool, Canvas. Okay, it's an LMS tool, but we're not using Canvas, we're using Canva. So Canva is, okay, just click here, Canva. Okay, so it will bring you to this homepage, Canvas homepage, and you can just sign up if you don't have an account, or you log in. Okay, so when you log into your account, it will bring you here. Okay, so on the left, what you can see is your menu, okay, and okay, I think I have to show you from the very beginning. I think this is already something that this is my account, so you will not be able to see from the very beginning. So let me just try and show you a different account. Okay. Hang on, yeah. Okay, jap. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is Mio nampak ke saya punya apa ni screen?
Nampak betul.
Okay. Let me just clear this. Go back to Google. So go back to type Canva. You take this one over here. Okay, so it will bring you to the home page. Log into the home page. Okay, so what you need to do is, you look on the left side, okay, you can see the button which has apa ni, the figure of people here. So click. These are your team. So you can see here, there's menu here, designs, folders, people, group. So what you need to do is you click the people button, okay? And this one will come up, invite team members for free. So you want your students to do group work, okay? But you want the group work output to be in a more professional presentation. Kan? Let's say if they're writing a report, you want it to look professional, like an office report. Or if they are doing PowerPoint, you want the PowerPoint to be professional looking. Or maybe if you want them to write something, it could be in the form of infographic, or maybe in the form of picture book, for example. So Canva gives you more templates for the students to play with. Okay, so just get invite link, click here. This pop up, this one will come out. Okay, so just copy the link, same process using GG just now. Just enter the long URL. You can customize the URL so that your students it will be easier for your students to remember. And then once you have done that, okay, you can share the link with your students. Then they can come into your Canva account. Let's try this. I'm going to give you this link, okay, in the chat section, and then you can try and join my Canva. Okay, hang on for a second. Okay, Mio, I'm sharing this with you. Can you share this in the chat section? Ataupun I terus share je lah. Alright, so try. Okay, that's the link. So can you just click on the link and see what happens? If you scroll down, you can see some of the so-called, macam for this purpose, simulation, right? So these are konon-konon students lah. So we can see 2 students already in, Fazlina Nawi and Safina Saling. So the students are already in your Canva account. You can refresh to continue looking at new students coming into the account. So you have more now. Okay, you can see Dr. Suzy there, Dr. Noraini, Dr. Zuraida. So this is how you add the students into your Canva account so that they will be doing work in your Canva. I've had the experience of forgetting to do this with my students. Mio is here as a witness. Okay, so I asked them to do their own work using Canva, but I did not ask them to actually do it in my own Canva. So the work became disorganized. So not all students will remember that at the end of doing the design, they have to add me into their Canva so that I can actually check their work. Okay, so it's harder to tell them to add us into their separate respective Canva rather than you give one link everyone come into this account and do it here. Then everything is there for you to actually check. Okay, so let's refresh again, see how many people is already in. Okay, so you can see more students in the Canva account. So what you need to do is, okay, go back to this menu over here, designs, folders, groups, right? So what you can do is, if you want to group them, you can actually group them. You can create group, okay, and add the students who have, the students who are already in the list of people in your Canva account. Or if you want to use folders instead of groups, you can also use this. Let's say, for example, you create in terms of folder. Folder 1 is basically for group 1. Folder 2 is for group 2. Folder 3 is for group 3. If you want to do it like that as well, you also can do that. Okay. So this is how you actually use Canva lah. Okay. This is in terms of the apa ni? Okay. Now, the type of things that you can do here, let me show you. So this is the template. Okay. Mio, keluar tak pop-up ni?
Keluar, Doktor.
Okay. So if you look at template, these are all the things that you can ask your students to do. If you want them to try and be professional, because I know the discipline of law requires, it needs, we as instructors, we want our students to be prepared for the legal world. So if you want, you can look into this list of business templates. So see all. So it has all these things over here, okay? So you can just scroll down. What is it that you want them to do? Flyers, presentations, what is it that you want them to do? You can just click this arrow button. Okay, there are photo collages, invitations, brochures, logos, and whatnot. So these are all examples of students' work. Okay, let me just show you in my other account. Okay, can you see this one? You nampak tak warna hijau, design anything?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an example. Okay, let's say you want to see your students' work and you want to make changes ataupun you want to correct ke apa benda ke to your students' work. So this is my students' work. Okay, and this is Mio's friend. Okay, this is actually done by Vidya Devi. So this is my student. Okay, so what you can do is, if you want to edit the document, you can just go here. Okay, and you can edit. Okay, if you want to print it, also you can. Okay, so this is how to use Canva for the purpose of collaborative assignment with student, or maybe individual assignment also can, but they will be submitting their work here. Okay, Mio, any question for Canva?
For Canva, cover buku atau e-book.
Sorry, come again?
Canva?
Tak dengar lah, Mio.
Cover buku atau e-book boleh guna Canva?
Boleh, ada dalam ni.
How heavy is Canva?
You just type whatever that you want over here. Hang on ya, Mio. Let's say you want e-book, so e-book. You just type, okay? This thing will come out. So these are all the e-book templates that they have. But I will not be able to go deeply. Actually, Canva itself is a workshop. I've conducted a Canva workshop, one-day Canva workshop, just on Canva. I've got many functions in Canva, okay? But I do not want to overwhelm everyone with too many functions in one one app. The purpose is basically for asking the students to do assignment. So the most important thing is for you to add the students in your team, and then they will be submitting their work in that particular folder. Okay, any other questions, Mio?
How heavy is Canva data-wise?
It's quite heavy. It's quite heavy. In comparison to Google Document and Google Drive tadi tu, this is heavier than that. Okay? Any other questions?
When we create groups, do we need to add the group members to the groups, or we can ask students to join their respective groups?
What you need to do the adding, but if you do not want to go into this tedious process, what you can do is you can ask your class rep to do it, because Canva allows anybody in the group to add anybody else. So maybe what you can do is you create, let's say, 10 groups, and for each group you appoint one group leader for example, and you add that group leader sahaja, just that group leader into the folder, the respective folder, and the group leader will be doing the adding of all the other members. Let's just have a look. Okay, here. So groups, you want to create. So just click create group. Okay, this will come out. So what you need to do is you have to have your student's email, yeah? Or if that person is already in your list of people, then his or her name will appear. Let's try Safina there. Let's say I add her into this group. Okay, and let's say just now I saw another name. So let's say I want to add Dr. Zuraida. Okay, let's add her in. So create group. So enter a group name. Okay, here, group 1, let's say. So create group. There, so it's created. So if you do not want to go into the tedious process of adding your students one by one, what you need to do is just choose one person to be the group leader. Okay, let's say for example, I'm choosing Dr. Safina as the group leader. So I change her status to be administrator. So now she has the authority to actually add other people into the group. Okay, any other questions, Mio, on Canva?
Hak cipta untuk cover buku atau e-book ambil yang free dalam Canva.
You can actually take the free one, or you can, okay, the question, I will translate the question in English for the international participants. In terms of copyright of the design, yeah, everything that you have in Canva is something that you can use. It's not copyright protected. But it's just that there are things that you have to pay, there are things which are free. Even those that you have to pay, you can use. As long as you pay and you can use lah. It's actually done by Canvas designers. Okay, anything else?
Okay, tak ada.
Another
one I use it for design, not passion.
Sorry, come again, Mia?
I use it for design of my book cover. It's very heavy.
Okay, so somebody is sharing an opinion, okay, sharing an experience, yeah? So that person has actually used Canva for designing the cover of ebook, and it's very heavy. Yes, it's heavy, but like what I tell you in the beginning of this workshop and the workshops before this, I'm just giving you the tools, but you need to do the need analysis. If, say, for example, your students do not have any problems with internet connections, then you can use this, so not a problem. Okay, any other questions? No?
No.
Ada tak, Mio? Tak ada?
Tak ada.
Alright. Okay, so if there are no questions, if we just to make sure that not everyone is on the same page. So if we go back to this screen over here, I've covered Google Documents and Google Drive, and I've covered Canva. So I'm now moving to Pixton. So Google Document and Canva is suitable for writing assignments. The difference is what we have discussed just now. Google Document is lighter, easier, more accessible. Canva is slightly heavier and more complex, but it gives you more function, gives you more templates. So it depends on what you want to achieve and your need analysis with your students. Okay, Pixton is another one that you can use. My students for this semester, some of them are quite familiar with Pixton. Kan Mio kan?
Yes, betul.
Okay, so for Pixton, yeah, let me just show you. Let's go to Google. Okay, so type Pixton. This is actually a Canadian website. It used to be limited, but since PKP, they have made it quite accessible to everyone. So this thing will come out, the list of websites will come out. Okay, so you can choose this one, Pixton, free comic storyboard and graphic novel maker. So click. Okay. Okay, so you can see this homepage coming out. Okay, nampak ke Mio?
Nampak betul.
Okay, so this is the homepage for Pixton. So you have 4 options: for educators, for students, for parents, for business. So for your students, they have to click here for students. For us, for educators, click for educators. Okay. Okay, then you have to create your account lah. For myself, I already have an account, so I just log into the account. Okay. It's basically using my Google account. Hang on, yeah. I know there's a black box appearing in front of you, but it's my pop-up window. Okay. Okay, so this is my ni. Mio nampak saya punya control panel ni, Mio. Bahaya ni. Okay, so this is my class in Pixton. So what you, I will show you an example of how my students submitted their work in my Pixton account. So these are all my students' work basically. Oh, sorry, these are the students who are in this class. So they have their own avatar. Mio, where are you? Oh, that's Mio over there. Kan Mio kan?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you can they will be choosing their own avatar, and the fun thing about this is you can take class photo with them as well. So this is the list of students in this particular class, and if you click class photo, so all students will be appearing together with you. Okay, so with in terms of avatar lah, in the form of an avatar. Okay, so you can see me over there. I look younger than Mio, and Mio is also choosing the same apa ni baju, pakai sama baju dengan I ni, same attire. Alright. Okay, so in terms of the work that they do here, you ask them to do case review, for example. So what you need to do is, okay, if you want to create a new class or a new folder, you click this button over here, new classroom. Once you click here, it will create a folder or a class for you, and you can add students into just that particular class. For example, this class just now, right? The one that I have shown you, this one over here, what I did, basically, you can see 57 students are in this particular class. You can see the numbers over here. What I did was basically just to copy the link, okay, copy, and just give this link to the student. Then they will click the link, and you will see them in the list of students. For example, just now, we go back to this one. You can see the students here. Once they go into this, they will be required to do their own avatar. So they will just, you can see them appearing in the list of avatars here, okay? And the comics that they do, the case review, so this is, I take this as the visual learning version of case review or case study or case analysis. So you can see here, this one for my class, the assignment for them was basically to create comics based on cases that have been assigned to them in the topic, in the subject of CV procedure. So you can see the name of the students, the title of their comics, and also the comic itself. For example, let's look at this one over here. This one is done by Mio. Where's yours? Mio punya yang mana?
Bawah sikit.
Oh, bawah sekali. Perlahan jadi cakap, janganlah buka I punya, dia kata kan. So basically, hang on ya. Okay. So this is how it looks like lah. Okay, Mio, any questions so far on Pixton?
No, Doktor.
Tak ada soalan. Soalan lain berkenaan dengan benda lain ada tak?
Ada, Doktor. Zoom has no time limitation right now.
Yeah, I think in the last workshop, I did mention that there was a notification sent to my email, and I believe the way how the notification is written is actually being sent to all Zoom users. So basically in the notification, it says that for the time being, Zoom does not have any limitation in terms of the duration. So even if you use it more than 40 minutes, you will still be able to use it. So I'm not sure whether this is true or not, because I'm using a paid account. So it's the same for me. Because paid account gives you unlimited usage. So I don't know if it's free, or whether those who are using it for free will have it unlimited at this moment.
But my Zoom is still limited because I'm using Zoom with my students, only 40 minutes. Then auto stop.
Have you updated your Zoom, apa ni, Dr. Suzy?
Yes.
So maknanya there's one sharing over there. Okay, any other questions, Mio?
Is Pixton as heavy as Canva?
No, it's actually heavier. Canva is lighter. Pixton is heavier.
Pixton, how do we give questions to students?
How do we what, sorry?
Give questions to student.
Give what? Tak dengar.
Question.
Sorry, come again?
Question. Soalan.
Question? How do we give question? What do you mean give question to the student, yeah?
By using Pixton, how do we give questions to students?
Oh, you can actually give question to the student using your own comic if you want to. Let me just show you mine. My comics. So this was my instruction. This was my instruction in the forms of comic as well. Yep. So as you can see, let me just copy this link and let me just share this with you as an example. Okay. Okay, try and click on this link. It's in the chat section. So that's an example of my instruction to my students. Okay, any other questions, Mio, so far?
Can the lecturer create an assignment using the comic? I think you just answer.
Okay.
Okay, for Pixton, is it suitable for case review only? How about case study?
Yeah, you can also use it for case study. Okay, I'm not sure whether we have the same definition of case study. So when I ask my students to do case study, I basically ask them to look into the material facts, the issues in that particular case and the judgment and what was the reason given by the court, and I ask them to do an analysis. So based on what you have read, based on the case that you have studied, so discuss, for example. So if that's the same definition of case studies that we're talking about here, yep, you can just do it in Pixton. In the examples of comics that my students did just now, most of them did that. So they presented the story in the particular case, and then they use the comic to give their own views on what happens in that case. Any other questions?
Can I share this Pixton?
Share, what do you mean share the Pixton? What do you mean? Who is asking the question? Maybe you can use your mic to further explain.
I mean, share with colleagues, other colleagues, maybe?
Yes, yes, you can. You mean you want to share the class link or you want to share the comics?
The comics, the example of the comic.
Can, no problem. You basically just go to that particular comic. Let me just show you. Let's
share the link, right?
Your student's comic or your own comic?
No, I mean the one you shared with us just now.
Oh, okay. All right, okay. So you go to My Comics, the menu over here. Okay, then you just click the button share. Okay. Oh, are you asking my permission to share my comics? Of course, no problem. No problem at all. You can just share.
All right, thank you.
To share your own comic that you did, you can just click here. Click comic. Click the copy button and it will copy the link and you can just share with your students. Or if you want to print the comic, just click print. Okay, anything else, Mio, for Pixton?
Last question, is it possible for comic done on Pixton to be exported it to other medium?
For example, you mean Canva, is it? Can.
Pixton.
Maybe you download here, okay? It will come in the form of a PDF document, okay? Then you can just upload the PDF document. Let's say, for example, you want to make an ebook, can? You download it in the form of a PDF and you can use Canva, for example, re-upload it in Canva in PDF format, and then use the ebook template in Canva and you can change it into an ebook. So no problem, can.
Dr. Alas, can you please show us how to do the comics?
Yes, I'm about to do that. Okay, so how to do the comics? Very simple. So what you can do is the downside of Pixton, based on my experience, is quite heavy. It's quite heavy, but in terms of the function, very user friendly. So look at the button here, new comic. So just click new comic. Okay, so let's say you want to give the name to the comic. Let's say test simulation. All right. So I will click continue after entering the title. Okay. We'll bring you to this part over here. Okay, you can see the left side here is similar to your PowerPoint. These are slides, something like your slides in PowerPoint, but these are the strips lah, the comic, the frames for the comic. Okay. The top part here is the menu for you to do the comic. First, you choose your background. So you have free and paid backgrounds. If you look at the background over here, the options for the background, you will see that there are some with the lock icon over here. The lock icons can only be used if you have a paid account. I use free account, so the ones that are available for me is just this one lah. Okay, so let's say you take this one over here. It looks like a class, so you use this one. Choose this one. You can see the red tick appearing, meaning this is your selection. Okay, then you want to put in the characters for the comic. Okay, so you click characters. Okay, so it gives you options for you to add. Okay, there are many options, but the locked ones are only for paid account user lah. Let's say, like for me myself, when I was doing the comic that you saw just now, I saw this particular character over here. It reminds me of a student in my class. Yeah, Mio macam Ruben kan. So that's why I choose this one. Okay, so once I choose the character, it will give you the options of changing the attire for that particular character. Okay, so I usually do this like this. I imagine my students to be what? So I choose that students to be wearing the things that I aspire them to be. Okay, for example, Ruben usually has long hair and very sempoy, so maybe I can choose this one for him. He looks smart now. So that could be an inspiration for him maybe. Okay, so I will choose the color. Okay, the color of the hair. Okay, and the eyes, you can see, you can change the color if you want to. Okay, so maybe Ruben is not so dark. Maybe I change to this color. Okay, okay, maybe the hair, the hairstyle. Okay, maybe like this. Tapi I think based on the last Zoom meeting that we had with him kan, Mio kan, last class, I think rambut yang tadi tu, because dia panjang rambut dia kan tadi, hari tu. Okay, so maybe you do this. This is for the characters. And then if you want to add more characters, just click here, the button add character. Okay, and you can choose another person. Maybe this one. Okay. Okay. Okay, now that you have chosen the character, maybe you want them to talk to each other. Okay, so go to this one over here, the words button. Okay. You can choose whether you want to make it a speech, a thought, a shout, a whisper. It will give you different different bubble. For example, speech. So you just type whatever things that you want this character to say. Hello. All right. Don't forget to click tick. Unless you click tick, it's not going to be there. So click tick. Okay. See? And maybe this character wants to say something. So, yes, sir. Okay, so click tick. All right. If you want to change it to something like a thought, then the bubble will appear. Different bubble, see? If it's a shout, like that. If it's a whisper, it's like this. Okay, you can even change the facial expression. The facial expression, let's say you want to change Ruben's facial expression. Okay, these are the character, you want to change the face. Okay, so go to, let's say, Ruben's face, and you want to make Ruben to be surprised. And choose this one. See? Go to the other character. Maybe the other character is smiling. Maybe this lecturer is trying to tell him that there will be extra homework. So that's why he's now very surprised. Okay. So you want to make actions. Okay, just abandon changes, or sorry. You need to go here first. Okay. Go to actions. So you can change the pose of the character. Say for example, you want to change his pose from like this to be like this. Or maybe like this. Okay, so actions can be changed. Okay, you can explore this on your own. These are things that you can do with the character's hands and whatnot. Okay, and you can also choose to focus. Let's say, for example, in the next panel, okay, let's say this one, the next frame. Okay, let's say this one, you want to, kan comic kan sometimes it focuses to the character like this kan. There. So once you look at the first frame and the second frame, then it will flow like a story. Okay. So that's how you do the comic. After you are done, just click done. Okay. Okay. So you can just share with your students if you want. Share. Get the link. Okay. Then you have your link over here. Copy the link. Or what you can do is just download it. You will download in the form of PDF, for example. Then you can just email it to your students or share it in your WhatsApp. Okay, any other questions on Pixton?
Doctor, does this system make all students sharper and be direct on point?
Come again, what was the question? Mio tak apa dengar your microphone.
Does this system make all students sharper and be direct on point?
Sharper?
Sharper
And direct on point?
Yes.
No, this is actually an assignment. So basically, you ask them to do an assignment. So it depends on them whether they want to be sharp or they want to be accurate in their assignment with you. This is not a learning tool. If you want to use it as a learning tool, also can, but the ones who will be doing the comic will be you lah. Meaning if you teach using comics, you will be the one who has to be sharp and accurate on your teaching, meaning during using the comic. But if you give it to the students, of course, just as students will not be necessarily sharp in their normal assignments that they send you underneath your door when they print their assignments using Microsoft Word and they put it under their door, sometimes it may be accurate, sometimes they may not be sharp kan. Same with here juga lah. They will not be, some will be sharp, some will not be sharp. Does that answer the question? Any other questions, Mio?
Since it is heavy, does that mean student need stable internet to use Pixton?
Yes, they do need stable internet connection to do Pixton. But the good thing about Canva and Pixton, I mean, it is heavy. So things, I will tell you as it is lah. Okay, you need to do this based on your need analysis. It requires a stable internet connection. But the good thing about this is it's asynchronous in nature. So meaning the students can do it at their own time. With my students, what I did was I give them 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 2 weeks, Mio?
Yes, sir. Yes.
2 weeks for them. I said, okay, you have 2 weeks to basically do your comics. So during these 2 weeks time, what they can do is they will just do it when their internet connection is stable. But I would also like to share experience from my class. Out of, I think there were about 30 to 35 students doing the assignments for this using Pixton. Out of 35 students, there was one particular student who did not manage to get into Pixton at all. There were some problems with her laptop. So basically, I gave her a different assignment. So that depends on you as an instructor lah, whether you want to do it that way or you want to do it differently. Okay, it depends on you. Okay, any other questions, Mio?
How long is suitable time for student to complete a comic?
Actually, just like your normal assignment, it depends on you lah. You want to set your limit. But in terms of familiar, if you want to take into consideration that you want your students to be familiar with the apps and whatnot, then you give more time. For example, if normal case review, you give them, let's say, 1 week. Kan? If let's say you give them 1 week for normal case review, taking into consideration that this one requires familiarity with the app, for example, you can actually give them an extra few days more. So you just adjust that way lah. For my students, from my experience, I usually give them extra 1 or 2 days only, because I could see that the students that I have for this particular semester, they are kinesthetic learners compared to the ones that I have in the previous semesters who are mostly oral learners. So oral learners are quite slow in terms of catching up with the technology, but these kinesthetic learners is very fast, very quick. So I give them 1 or 2 days for this semester for them to be familiar with the apps. Okay, any other questions?
How long we spend using this tool? Is it time consuming, right?
To what? To do my comic or to ask the students to do their comic?
Comic.
For my comic, huh?
How we use, like, how long we spend using this tool?
For my comic, not really long, because you can see just now, right? The function is very simple. On the left side, you have your panel, and then you have the 4 buttons. I spend about half a day just to do 1 comic for the purpose of giving the students the input. I think how long depends on your internet connection, your device, depends on your capabilities in terms of being familiar with the apps and whatnot.
Okay, could we use this together with a rubric and grade it accordingly?
Yes, of course. Are you talking about your rubric? Because from what I understand, when you design your instruction, once you have done your need analysis, you will design your instruction. Once you have designed your instruction, you will develop the teaching material. So in the 3rd stage process of EDI model, when you develop your teaching materials, your learning materials, you will be developing the rubric as well. So since in your 2nd stage, okay, first you have done your need analysis. Based on your need analysis, you now have to choose your approach, your teaching style, approach and style is different, yeah? So you can choose your teaching approach, your teaching style, which must be underlined by the right learning theory, okay? And then you match with the tool that is suitable to give you the impact that you want. So after that, when you go to developing your teaching materials, of course, you'll be developing your teaching materials based on the design that you have prepared for your class. So obviously, you will be taking into consideration the tool when you come up with your rubric for the marking purposes. Any other questions?
Last 2, how to create a rubric for assignment in the form of Pixton?
How to create a rubric for assignment in the form of Pixton? Okay, the assignment is not Pixton, the assignment is case review. So in my opinion, you can just use your normal case review rubric or case study rubric, because I don't know about yours, but for my case review rubrics, I basically look into the 5 things that I wanted, the 5 things that I mentioned just now lah. Basically the accuracy of the summarization of the material facts, the issues, understanding of the students' understanding in terms of the issues of that particular case, right? So you can just use your normal rubric. And in my experience of marking, because I am in the process of marking the students' comic, just not the ones that you saw. Okay, in my experience, actually, when they do it in the form of comics, it's actually very much easier for them, for you to actually assess their understanding. Because if they put it in the form of a Microsoft Word document, first there will be the tendency of them actually copying from somewhere else. That's one thing. It's because it's just words, you see. But in terms of comics, they would have to illustrate or demonstrate what happens or what they understand through the comics. So it's actually easier for you to assess whether they understand or not. Yeah. If I could give a tip, if you want to make it more meaningful rubric, what you can do is you can use your case review rubric for normal case review, but just add 2 extra factors in the case review, i.e., number 1, the creativity of the students, and number 2, the accuracy of the students in using the comics to demonstrate the content of the case. Because when I was checking my students' comic, I could see that some of them do not actually demonstrate the comic. You know what they did? They basically just choose 2 characters one friend talking to another friend, and they basically just, I think they were just cutting and pasting. So meaning they were just putting in friend A says to friend B. So what is the material facts? So friend B answers, the material facts are da 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 da. So this one, of course, the students will lose marks in terms of their creativity and also the accuracy of demonstrating the cases, the content of the case. So give the students, if you want, you can give the students the rubric earlier, so they know that they have to actually make sure they can demonstrate the content of the case clearly using the comics. So for me, in my experience, it's better actually using this method compared to the normal Microsoft Word kind of report, okay? Okay, anything else? So I've actually finished on the writing assignment.
Is it suitable for PG students?
It depends on your PG students. Remember, always go back to your need analysis. Before you start your semester, do a need analysis. What's their character like? Like for last semester, right, I had oral learners. Oral learners, they want lectures. They want professional, formal lectures. So when I did all these crazy things with them, they did not like it. So it depends on your need analysis. I had the experience of conducting a workshop on gamification before, and I had one particular lecturer from KENMS. In UIE, it's called KENMS, Kuliah of Economics. One lecturer was from there, and she said she tried gamification in her class, and most of the PG students in her class were from the Middle East, and they gotten really angry. They said this is actually a disrespectful way of teaching and learning teaching and learning in university. So need analysis. If you have that kind of students, then maybe Pixton is not for you. Maybe comic is not for you if you have those kind of students. Okay. Anything else before I move on to the next tool?
Can you share how you mark, how to do it? Is it similar with Google Doc?
Oh no, Google document, you can actually make corrections, ask the student to actually make the corrections, and you can put your comments and whatnot. For this one, basically, I just look into the comics and just manually mark, give them grades manually in my own paper.
Okay, last doctor, can we see the sample of student answer?
Students answer, you mean the comic tadi ke?
Yes.
That one I have to check first with the faculty whether I can do that because it's the students' work. If can, nanti kan Mio marah I. Mio ketua kelas, nampak dia dah senyum. Dia malu nanti orang baca komik dia. So nanti I will have to check first. Okay, anything else? Mio tak ada Mio ada apa-apa tak?
Tak ada doktor.
Tak ada Alright. So we go back to this one over here. Let me just screen share again. So I've covered writing assignments using Google Documents, Google Drive, Canva, and Pixton. So now I go to kita lompat sikit lah pergi group presentation. Okay, so kita pergi ke group presentation. So pertama sekali, okay, firstly I would like to show you samples. Mio, do you have the samples?
Okay, yes, doctor.
Are you ready with the samples? Otherwise, if you're not ready, I'll go to speaking assignment first.
Alright.
Samples of the WhatsApp call and the Google Duo call.
Ready, doctor.
Ready, okay. So if you want your students to actually present, you can, of course, you can use Zoom lah, like what we're doing now. Okay, but Zoom is a bit heavy. So if you want it to be lighter and easier and more convenient, you can always use WhatsApp call. I've been using WhatsApp call for my students' presentation for quite a lot, especially for my PG students. For my PhD students, if they want to present their progress for their thesis, so they just WhatsApp call me, and together with another co-supervisor, we'll just discuss in WhatsApp call. So I am also contemplating on the possibility of using WhatsApp call for my case management, which is a form of advocacy assessment. So Mio, can you share with us the WhatsApp call video from before?
All right. This one for 8 person. Wait,
This is at the moment WhatsApp call you can use up to 8 persons. Say for example you have group, right? Okay, and each group you have maybe 5 students per group. So plus you as the lecturer who will be listening to them presenting, 6 people. So you can use WhatsApp call lah. So can you show us, Mio?
Doctor, who's disabled screen
Oh,
sharing?
okay. Hang on for a second.
Alright.
Okay. Boleh.
Okay. Nampak doktor?
Nampak? So this was actually the WhatsApp call that we had last night. Yeah, Mio? Kan?
Yes. So if on this server you can add more person at the top.
Tunjukkan Mio macam mana nak add, let's say you have started the call with 5 people and then you want to add an extra person, there's a button up there where you can just add. Anybody in the call can add an extra person as long as it doesn't exceed 8 people lah.
Okay, first I click 8 people. Someone ada terkeluar, so I just click at the top right. Okay, add person.
Okay.
Alright. So the maximum 8%.
8 persons, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So as you can see, it's not very stable. So I was discussing with them last night and I said if I want to use this for my CM, for my case management or hearing, I would have to ask them to have a tripod or put it on something stable as the foundation for the camera, for the phone. Okay.
So this one for Google.
Okay, that was WhatsApp call. There's another one that we can use. Are you showing Google Duo, Mio?
Yes, Google Duo.
Okay, this is Google Duo. You can get this app in Play Store to install in your phone.
So maximum 11 orang.
The difference between Google Duo and WhatsApp call, with Google Duo you can have 11 people. So you can have more lah with Google Duo. And Google Duo is actually lighter than WhatsApp call. But there are few differences lah. It depends on your need analysis. For Google Duo, you need to create a group first. Macam WhatsApp, you already have a group kan? Macam let's say for example, you want to ask the students to do presentation. Before you go to WhatsApp call, obviously you already have a WhatsApp group. Okay, so for Google Duo, you firstly have to create a group first. Macam like what Mio is doing now. He has created a group. So it's calling. Suara tak dengar Mio. Dekat Mio punya screen sharing tu, tick share the voices as well. Okay, so you can see berapa orang tu? How many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people. More are coming into the meeting. Oh, was it just 8, Mio, last night?
Last night.
Oh, it was just 8 last night, but you can actually do it up until 11. I think there's one question from Prof. Nohashima. Accidentally, the chat is open. I can see it here. What do I mean by it's lighter? We realized that when we use Google Duo, it was more smooth compared to WhatsApp call. Okay, so that was Google Duo and WhatsApp call. Any questions up to this point? We're going to do a simulation after this using WhatsApp call and Google Duo. Any questions tak Mio dalam chat box?
Can we record for assessment or appeal purpose if we use as assessment tool?
Can. Last night, the one that we are showing you is a recording from last night. So you can actually record. There's one, if you are an Android, if you are an iOS user, Apple user, it's very simple. Mio, can you explain, because you're an iPad user? How do you record?
Yeah.
How do you record? Can you explain to them if you're an iOS user?
All right. I share screen. Okay, just swipe up and all right. Okay, can you see the recording button?
Recording button?
Ya, recording button yang dua dari bawah. Dua dari bawah on the right. So just click the recording button and it will start record.
Okay.
All right.
This is for iOS, eh?
Yes.
Okay, for Android, it's a bit complicated. Bukanlah complicated, it's a bit there are more steps lah. There are more steps. You need to install one app called MNML. Okay, it's called MNML. M Malaysia and Netherlands, Malaysia, Libya, MNML. Okay, find it in Google Store and just install that and record using that app. Okay, any other questions on WhatsApp call and Google Duo? No. Okay.
Can we do the WhatsApp call on the laptop, or is it just available in the mobile phone?
Unfortunately, it's only available in mobile phone. You will notice that when you open your WhatsApp web, it does not have the button for you to click to do a video call. So it's only available in your mobile.
Google Duo, is only available in the mobile phone? Google Duo.
Google Duo, okay, I do not have an answer to that question because I have not had the experience of searching for Google Duo in laptop. I've only used it in my phone. So maybe you can explore and Google and see whether you can find Google Duo on your Google browser. Okay, if we do not have any questions, or maybe we can come to the questions later. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a simulation. You're going to have to try and use this. Okay, and we're going to discuss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a gamified activity. I'm going to put everyone, all the participants into breakout rooms, random breakout rooms. Okay, can everybody get ready? So what you need to do, you'll be only having about 2 minutes in the breakout room. In that 2 minutes, you need to do 3 things because we'll need these 3 things for the next activity. So in the breakout rooms, what you need to do is appoint one group leader. Okay, appoint one group leader. The group leader has to collect email accounts and also the phone numbers of everybody in that particular group because you'll be needing those info for the next activity. So we'll see which group is the quickest. Okay, so we're going to try and do that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to open the room now. Okay, let's start. You have 2 minutes. Apa ni, Kusha, tolong jaga masa jap. Can you please go into your room? Please accept. Yang banyak-banyak ni kenapa dekat sini ya? So maybe they're not really here kot, Amir.
Ada lagi 23.
Masa Kusha?
Saya rasa Kusha termasuk breakout ni, Doktor.
Oh, tapi dia ada lagi kat sini ha.
Tu Kusha.
Lupa nak unmute. Dah 2 minit.
Dah 2 minit dah. Bagi dia orang lagi 1 minit kot.
Okay.
Kenapa yang lain-lain ni ada kat luar Amir? Memang maknanya they have not clicked on accepting kan?
Ataupun dia orang masuk banyak account ke? Tak.
Oh maybe dia orang masuk account banyak-banyak device. Okay, dah ke Kusha? Dah Kak Jam asam muka. So I hope all group leaders have managed to collect the email accounts and the phone numbers. Okay. Okay, so now what you need to do is we're going to try and do a simulation of WhatsApp call together. Okay, add those members in your smartphones, the group leaders. Okay. Okay, everybody add each other's numbers in your phone. If you have done that, okay, what you need to do is try to do a WhatsApp call with your group members and show your phone to the screen to show that the call is going on.
So the leader will call us, right?
The leader will call, yes, the leader will have to call.
All right, thank you.
Oh, okay, so Dr. Majda is showing hers. Is that Prof. Ainul in the WhatsApp call, Kak Jam? Okay, anybody else have tried this? You will notice that there's a difference in terms of the humanizing aspect of the meeting. Yeah, when you do it via Zoom, it's a bit formal, but when you do it via WhatsApp call, it's a socializing tool. So it's a bit. Oh, Wanzul Hafiz is also showing his video call. Anybody else?
I need to add everybody because I'm not in the same department, so it takes time.
Yes. So what do you notice from the WhatsApp call? Do you think this is something that you can use for presentation?
It is very, very practical.
Very practical.
Yeah, not really high tech. I think it's very down to earth.
very down to earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
For,
And it's
for
also
people
very
like me, yeah. For people like me, old school, I prefer this is very practical. I'm used to it. I don't have to learn something new, really.
okay, okay. So the only thing that you have to remember is that you can use it up to 8 people lah. Okay,
Oh yes,
based on
yeah.
the
We have a small group. No problem at all.
yes, yes. Based on the latest info that I have, WhatsApp is trying to increase it to, I think, 30 people, 30 or 50 people, I'm not sure. So if that becomes a reality, it will be even easier for us to conduct our classes through WhatsApp, because I've used this for many of my presentations with my postgrad students.
That's right.
Postgrad students lah. For with Mio's batch, I have not used this in class yet for their case management. I've used this for my postgrad students. I've used it for 2 or 3 hours of discussion. So far smooth, no problem,
right.
very smooth. You just have to make sure that inform your students to put it on a stable foundation or have a tripod so that it doesn't move so much when they're talking to you. Otherwise, it will be a bit pening kepala lah kan. So just ask them to do that.
Dr. Mizan, I was wondering, is there any time limit for WhatsApp call, for WhatsApp video?
I do not have accurate information on that, but the ones that I've used it for 3 hours. It was okay, no problem.
Oh, that's great. 3 hours is good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
But I believe they must have a very strong connection as well, right? Or else it's kind of interrupted.
I think not as strong as when you want to do it via Zoom or Webex or Google Meet, but I think it's more stable than normal WhatsApp texting, of course lah. But you don't have to have very strong 150 more than 250 bandwidth. No, it's lighter a bit lah than Zoom dengan Webex and all that.
But Dr. Mizan, I think maybe the setback is our phone will get heat up, right?
Yes, yes.
Very warm.
Can we record that as a proof for record? Can we record the WhatsApp call?
Yes, you can. You can. I think Mio showed just now, if you are using iPad or iPhone, there's a way how you're supposed to do it. I'm not an iPhone user. I'm not an iPad user, so I'm not familiar with that. But for Android, I'm using Android. So for Android, you have to use MNML app. Basically, it's called MNML to record the screen while you're doing the WhatsApp call.
Oh, we still have to download the new app, yeah?
Yes, if you want to record it. If you want to record it.
Because we need to put that as a record for that the students presented, for example, because there could be some audit exercise later on.
Unless Prof. Nashima, if you want a simpler way of doing it, maybe you can have 2 devices. Maybe you have your WhatsApp call in your phone, and then you can just record the process of doing the WhatsApp call with the students using your laptop, webcam and all that. But of course, the sound won't be as clear lah. Okay.
How is it? I cannot imagine. Can you repeat that?
Okay, like now, for example, okay, you are looking like what you did just now with me, meaning the leaders basically showed their WhatsApp call in this group, right? Meaning they are using their smartphones for WhatsApp call, but they are showing the WhatsApp call at the through the webcam video in the laptop. So you can record from your laptop, but of course the sound won't be as clear lah. Okay. Any other questions on WhatsApp call or Google Duo? I will not be going into Google Duo simulation because it requires you to install the Google Duo app. Do you have the Google Duo app?
No, I don't have.
If you have the Google Duo app, okay, what I want you to do is, can you just go to your Google Duo and try to add your members, because if you have saved their numbers in your phone, you will find them in Google Duo. Mio, can you show them, Mio? From your screen? You have to create the group first. So you can just choose your group members from the list. So see, choosing all the group members now from the video. Okay. Okay. So once all the group members have been added. Okay, so the group is ready. So you just click the button, the webcam button at the bottom. So it's calling everyone. Okay. Okay, Mio. So can everybody try this and see if your friend's name appear? But there's a bit of a challenge here compared to WhatsApp call lah, because Google Duo ni, it takes time for the app to actually detect that your friend is there. It takes some time after they have installed the apps and whatnot. Okay, anything else? Mio, ada soalan lagi tak on WhatsApp call and Google Duo?
Tak ada.
Okay.
Dr. Mizan,
Yes.
Madam Suzana, basically, yes, WhatsApp ni is good, but it will eat up on the data plan of the students lah kan? So,
Yes.
betul? Maknanya, how much they have to pay lah for long calls. It's like making a call juga lah kan?
Yes, yes. It does actually it does actually affect the internet data. Compared to, of course lah, when you just texting in WhatsApp or when you are audio recording in WhatsApp compared to when you are video calling takes a lot more of internet data.
Okay, so alright, so there is something that we have to consider lah for some of the students kan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
So it goes back to your need analysis. Don't forget to do that to check whether this is the right tool for you. Okay, so if let's say for example, you want to do something that's a bit more formal, you want screen sharing, you want all students to see the presentation, that one you have to do it like what we're doing now lah. We have to do via Zoom or Google Meet or Cisco WebEx or these tools, these web conferencing tools. Okay, we're going to try and use a bit of the functions that we can use for group presentations in Zoom. Okay, so now I'm going to screen share some. Mio, can you screen share something from your screen? Okay. Okay, so this is Mio's screen. What I want to do is, can somebody try to control Mio's screen from afar? You can request remote control. You look at the top of your screen. You look at the top of your screen. You will see view options. When you click the view options button, a pop-up will come out, okay? And you have the options of requesting remote control. Can somebody please try request remote control? Anybody try requesting tak, Mio?
Ada.
Ada. Who?
Wait.
Mio? Boleh tak? Ada orang, is there anybody requesting from you to control your screen?
I requested just now.
Yes, Dr. Rosni. Go ahead. Dr. Rosni, go ahead. I think your microphone is mute, so you need to unmute your microphone.
I've requested, but
oh, you have requested. Okay,
Yep.
Mio, I think Dr. Rosni has
So how?
requested to control.
So how?
Mio, have you given the
Permission.
Yeah, you need to approve that, right?
I approve Majda.
Oh, you approve somebody else. Okay, so Dr. Majda is
Okay, no
controlling
problem.
Mio's screen now. So let's say you're having a group presentation. Let's say there are 5 members in the group. The group leader is actually showing his screen. So the other members of the group can just actually request for the remote control and control the screen from afar. So that's one function that you can use. Okay?
So I approve. Alright.
Mio pandai, dia tutup semua dia punya WhatsApp, semua everything sebelum dia nak bagi access kepada remote control dia. Okay. So that's one function. Okay, can somebody try to annotate the screen? If you go to the view options, there's annotating function tau. So can you try and annotate Mio screen? See, we can annotate. So this one is more somewhat similar to the Jamboard. Remember I introduced to all of you Jamboard in the last workshop. So it's more similar, but you're doing it synchronously together in web conferencing. Okay. This is one function that you can use for group presentation lah. One function was request remote control. Another one is annotating. If you plus this together with the Zoom breakout room function, what you can do is ask them to go into the breakout room first, do a group work together. After that, come back and do a presentation in front of the class like this. And they can just use the the remote control function and also the annotating function. Okay,
This annotation is to highlight some points ke?
Yes,
Macam
yes.
mana?
If you want to highlight some points, or maybe you can also use this to actually emphasize on certain point, kan? Okay. Any questions on this? The group presentation? There's a question from Dr. Hairi Azmin. Can breakout room can be used even for free account of Zoom? Yes, you can, but it's still limited to that 40 minutes. Any other questions on this? Tak ada, siapa lah pula pergi buat love tu kat jam lah tu. Okay. Alright, so if there are no questions, Mio ada soalan tak?
How do you stop this? Remote control.
Oh, you can actually snatch back I call it snatching back of the remote control. Just like at home when you're watching TV, you snatch the remote control back from someone who is holding the remote control, right?
Bahaya, bahaya.
I've had the experience of doing this with my students, and then one student was controlling the screen and dia kata, "Doktor, saya nak tengok dia punya WhatsApp lah." Tok, klik the WhatsApp yang tengah terbuka tu.
For Google Duo,
Yes.
every participant needs to have Google Duo in their mobile phone?
Yes, everybody
if
must
not-
have Google Duo in their smartphone.
So if not, we cannot add them into the group.
Correct. Yes, that's why I did not do the simulation for Google Duo,
Plus-
because when I tried with my
I
students,
cannot
it
add
took some
Dr.
time.
Rusni.
Doctor?
I cannot add Dr. Rusni in my group. Oh,
Maybe
just now.
it takes some time, because last night Mio and I tried this, and one of the students, Hasana, it took some time for Google Duo to detect that she has already installed that thing in her phone. So it does take some
Yeah.
time lah.
I did upload that already. Tapi tak ada pula.
Dia lambat sikit.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on this?
Dr. Shahrul.
Yeah.
Dr. Shahrul, one more a very simple question for you. Have you taught us how to break up the breakout function for Zoom?
Yes, last week I have done that. But if sorry, come again?
Can you just repeat it again? I forgot how.
Okay, what I can do is I will show you how to set up the breakout rooms, but I will not be able to show you the taskbar for the breakout room because I'm using Zoom at the moment, so it cannot be overlapping at the same time. Mio boleh nampak screen saya tak? Saya pergi Zoom sekarang.
Boleh nampak.
So basically, if you go into your Zoom account, okay, hang on for a second. I'm going into my Zoom account now. So basically, you go to the meetings, the list of meetings that you have. See, upcoming meetings, right? Upcoming meetings. So you go to your settings. On the left side, there's a button there, settings. So what you need to do is scroll down until you can find breakout rooms, and then you just enable the breakout room. Very simple. Where is it? Yes, this one. So make sure it's turned on. Otherwise, the function won't be available during your meeting. So make sure that you turn on the breakout room function, and also tick this button so that if there's any members who suddenly appear, okay, you can assign immediately there and then during the time when the meeting is going on. So you can use this function. But once you have done this, like now, for example, we are in a meeting, I cannot show you the taskbar. It will, the breakout room button will appear at the bottom of your screen, okay? And from there, you can actually open how many breakout rooms you want, and each breakout room to contain how many people and whatnot. You can do that. You can
But-
assign manually each member into a breakout room, or you can just do like what I did, random selection. Yes, Prof?
These are done by the students, right? As the head of for the leader for each
Yeah,
group.
you can do that. Like for example, with me, Mio is my class monitor. So during the class, what I did was I passed the hosting to him. So he became the host. So he added everyone into the right group, and then I just opened the room.
Just assign the group leader to do it for us, right? That's
Yeah,
better.
but remember to appoint the group leader to be co-host, or if you want the group leader to assign them into the group, they have to be the host. You just go to the button participants at the bottom of your screen. Once you click that button, you will see the list of participants in your class. Just choose the class leader, okay, and go to the more button and just make that person to be the host for that particular class. Okay, anything else? It's already 1:04.
Any suggestion on how you deal with students with very limited internet access?
Very limited internet access for what type of assignment? We go back to the type of assignment just now. Which type of assignment are we talking about here?
I'm not sure.
So which one? We have
How about group presentation?
for group presentation, if you want it to be synchronous, because group presentation means synchronous, kan? Synchronous, and the lowest data internet would be Google Duo. The one that I showed you just now, Google Duo dengan WhatsApp tu dua-dua quite low. It does eat up on the internet data like what Madam Susanna has said just now, but it's better than Zoom or Webex if you still want to do group presentation. Otherwise, if you want to do it asynchronously, not synchronous, asynchronously, another way is basically just asking them to do a WhatsApp call on their own, or maybe just do an animation video, for example, a video on their phone, for example, and then just upload it in YouTube lah and give you the link. That's asynchronous. That one doesn't require that much of data because it's not synchronous, it's asynchronous. But by the end of the day, when you talk about video, it will definitely be eating up your internet data. There's no two ways of doing it. So you just have to decide lah whether you want to do group presentation or not. Once you want to do group presentation, and if you require the students to show themselves while they do the group presentation, it will definitely be it will definitely be affecting your internet data, the students' internet data. Another way of doing it is we can use podcast live call. Okay, let me just show you that since you asked the question. Okay, so let's say we go to Spreaker. This is going a bit out of the topic, but it's relevant, so we can just go. Okay, we go to Spreaker, the one that I taught in the first workshop. So we go to Spreaker, and then we just go to our account in Spreaker. Create podcast with Spreaker. This one, record or go live. Click here. Okay. Open the app. It will go to Spreaker Studio. Okay. I'm going a bit fast because I've covered this in the first workshop. If any of you has missed the first workshop, you can always watch the video again to remember. Okay, so it will bring you to Spreaker Studio. Hang on for a second. I need to screen share the pop-up. This one. Okay. Okay, this is the Spreaker Studio. So once you go here, click Start button. It will give you two options. So if you want to ask them to do group presentation, but only via audio, so it doesn't affect that much of internet data, you go live. Okay, but it doesn't give you the same effect as you would have in a video call, because it's just a podcast, meaning what the students will do is just responding to you rather than them making the presentation. Or if you want them to do the presentation, you ask them to do this, meaning they will do it via podcast live call, and you can just go and join their live podcast. Okay, and then for example, let's just try test. Okay, test. Okay, and then just go live. Download enable, make sure. Okay, private for this purpose, go live. Okay, so now it's live. So you can ask them to do this, and you can just listen to their podcast if they present. But if you want to do this, you might as well just use WhatsApp, because WhatsApp have audio call as well. Okay, any other questions?
Doctor,
Yep.
breakout room can be used even for free account
Yeah,
for
I
Zoom.
think you have answered that question. You can, but still limited to your 40 minutes capacity.
Okay, last one. Can you please explain a bit about Coggle?
Coggle, okay, Coggle, just hang on for a second. Okay, we go back to my screen, close speaker, Coggle, yeah? Okay, Coggle, let's go to Google first. This could also be an assignment for your problem-based learning. Coggle, type Coggle, this will come out. So go into your Coggle account. If you don't have an account, you need to create one. Okay, so what you need to do is you ask your students, you definitely cannot create a diagram for them to come. Macam just now for Canva, you basically ask them to join your Coggle and they can create many things inside Canva, right? But for Coggle, the free account allows you only up to 3 diagrams. Only to 3 diagrams. So even if you add lots of people in that particular, you are not able to do this because Coggle doesn't actually gives you the function where you can add your students generally. You can only add students in each mind map like this. You can add here, okay? But the better option would be for you to ask your students to open their own Coggle account, okay? And when they open their own Coggle account, they will create diagram. For example, let's say this is the diagram. They will add their group member here by inserting the group member's email, okay? That is their group's Coggle together. And what they do is they basically just add you in. So they will just add your name here, your email here, and you'll be a part of their Coggle, and then it will appear here. Let me show you, yeah? On the left side, these are your own Coggle created by you. Once you click shared with you, it doesn't have any limit because it basically, they are basically Coggles created by other people, your students, but you are just added in as a member of that Coggle. So if you want to ask them to do assignments on problem-based learning, for example, you want them to extract the material facts, you know, the MIRAT method, right? Material facts, issues, rules, application, and tentative conclusion. So you want them to do that. So you maybe can ask them through to do it via mind map. So they can do it on their own, and they can just add you in as a member of their Coggle. So you can just check one by one to give marks, like this. So you can see here the students who are in this particular group. So you can check their work, okay? And you can check the work done based on looking at this. It will show you what was done step by step when they were working together. For mine, it was 3 months ago that I was using this in my class. So they were doing this together, so you can actually see the progress of the work. This is the same thing that we had in the Google document just now, where they can actually send messages to each other to work in groups. But my students basically they communicated via WhatsApp, so they did not use this. So if they want, they can also use this. Just discuss here to do the group work together. Okay, does that answer the question? Okay, any other questions?
Doctor, Telegram also can be used for call?
Yes, Telegram can also be used for call.
Okay, can we set only me to record our lecture for practice? I think for Spreaker.
Can you repeat, Mio? I was not able to hear that. Come again?
Can we set only me to record our lecture for practice?
Tak dengar, Mio. Kuat sikit.
Can we set only me to record our lecture for practice?
For what, in Zoom?
I think for Spreaker. This one for
Spreaker. For Spreaker, you mean when you use the live function, is it?
I think.
If that, I do not have an answer to that question because I've never used live version for Spreaker, but I'm aware of the function. That's why I introduced that function to you, but I've never used it my own, so I don't know whether you can actually do that. You can actually explore. Any other questions? It's already 1:12. I don't think we have enough time to go into any new tool. So now I'll be just entertaining questions.
Coggle is just for mind map, no other forms?
Yeah, Coggle is just for mind map. If you want, you can also use Canva for mind map. But in Canva, it's called concept map. it does not have the exact same function as a mind map in okay, the azan, yeah, so we'll wait for a while. Right, any other questions? Now it's just questions, yeah?
So which one is better, apps or platform? WhatsApp video call or Zoom for mooting oral presentation?
Okay, for my class, for presentation in terms of mooting and hearing and whatnot, so far my option is to use Zoom or WebEx or Google Meet, things like that. In fact, I would prefer Microsoft Teams because the apps would allow me to actually install documents. In Microsoft Teams, you can actually install the documents, you can upload the documents into the team. So as the hearing goes on, you can actually just look into all the relevant documents for that particular hearing. So if for me, I would be using Microsoft Teams, but that is that is saying without doing need analysis. If I were to do need analysis, which I will do with my students before the hearing itself, if most of them have internet problems, then I would have no options but to go into WhatsApp call, because WhatsApp call uses less data internet and requires less stable internet connection. Okay, any other questions?
No, Doctor.
Ada ya? Okay, if there are no questions, I will just recap on what we have discussed today. Though we may not have time to discuss everything, but at least you know the structure and you can always go and explore yourself. Okay, just before we finish the workshop, I would like everyone to try and do a flip grade and give a reflection of what you think of the workshop. So this would be double purpose. It will also be giving you the experience of using Flipgrid as a student. And once you explore Flipgrid on your own, then you can look at it from the perspective of both an educator and also as a student. All right, so I'm going to open my Flipgrid. Okay, So if you have your Flipgrid in your phone, what you need to do is you have to insert the flip code, yeah? Okay, so this is my Flipgrid. Let me just show you. Okay, so my flip code is Mizan. So just enter the flip code and then just record your reflection. Can we try now?
We need to sign in as student, educator, or guest?
Student.
Student, okay.
Sorry, this is the flip code. So these are all my workshop participants from previous workshops. So you will, once you record, you will appear here. So as you can see, I have 2,043 views, okay? Meaning, there are many students can actually do this in your Flipgrid. So you can actually use this for your speaking assignment. So you want them to actually say something. Your assignment is basically for them to say something. Maybe this is relevant for those who are teaching mooting or advocacy or those that requires hearing and whatnot, okay? You can also use this for the purpose of presentation as well. If your presentation is just a matter of wanting them to do asynchronous presentation, it doesn't require longer than 10 minutes, then you can use Flipgrid because the maximum time for Flipgrid is 10 minutes, okay? So if it's not longer than 10 minutes, then you can use Flipgrid apart from YouTube. YouTube just now was one example that I gave you again. They basically record themselves using YouTube Studio and just upload it in their YouTube channel and give the link to you. Or another way is you create a Flipgrid like this, and then they will just enter using their the flip code, and they will just record themselves. But provided it's not longer than 10 minutes lah. Okay, let's refresh and see if there's anyone who has actually done this. Once you record, you will see at the end of your recording, it will ask you to take a selfie. Please do that, otherwise your recording will not be. The flip code is D5FFD642. Okay?
Once again, the code DF?
It's as on the screen, Prof. The one here.
Okay.
D5FF642 on the screen.
Yeah, I just managed to download the app.
Any response? So far tak ada apa-apa lagi yang bertambah. Any question, Mio, sementara tu?
Tak ada, Doktor.
Okay.
Macam mana nak buat nanti? Dah masuk Dr. Mizan's Play Shop. Then afterward, what need to do? What
do you see? Okay, let me show you.
Let's connect. Let's connect.
Yes, let's connect. Go to Let's Connect.
Okay.
Connect.
Okay, then press the green plus button to record.
Log in to record with Google.
Yes. This dah ada dah ni. Some people have actually left ni. Wow, Dr. Zuraida looks so tired.
Thank you very much, Mizan. It was a very good one.
Suara tu macam tak habis raya lagi macam tu. Okay, alright. So you can actually see each student's video.
Thank you, Dr. Mizan.
Okay.
Once again, the code DF?
Okay. So any questions on Flipgrid? Mio, ada soalan tak?
Tak ada, Doktor.
Tak ada, Okay, so if there are no questions, we'll take a group photo together again for this particular workshop. So we have to do this every time, because it's different workshop. There are still different people in the workshop. Okay, tiba-tiba Kak Jem on camera. Tak tahu apa dia buat tadi kat belakang kamera tu. Okay. Jom. NASA. Baru nampak NASA dekat planet Earth. Okay, Mio tolong tangkap gambar. Mio pakai iOS nampak gambar kan?
Okay, Doctor. 1, 2, 3. Okay, second. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, last page.
Thank you, Mizan. Very good presentation.
1, 2, 3. Last page. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, done.
Okay, thank you everyone. Apa ni, co-host, please stay back
Thank you, Mizan.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Jumpa hari
Bye,
Sabtu
thank
pada
you.
siapa-siapa yang join Sabtu.
Thank you, Prof.
Meeting.
Mizan.
Thank you so
Selamat
much.
Hari Raya.
Bye.
Bye everybody.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Hari Raya. Kami ada lagi kat sini, so siapa-siapa nak balik, baik keluar. Kami stay back untuk postmortem.
Oh, the left. Listen. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you. Hi.
Bye Dr. Farha.
Ya, sampai raya. Thank you.
Dr.
Nasa
Syamizan.
blowing kiss. Ha, Nasa, baru aku nampak kau.
Dr. Shu.
Bila kau nak jumpa aku raya?
Bye.
Thank you so
Dr.
much,
Syamizan.
Bye.
Dr. Syuk control macho.
Kurus satu kat Syuk, benci sangat.
Alamak, topik tak sedap dengar ni.
Dr. Syamizan.
Nampak lupa dia ada orang lain lah Kak Jam.